Do you feel like you're always getting stepped on and bullied by other people? Does it feel like no matter what you do, how strong you try to be and how much you try to avoid other people, it doesn't work? People eventually always find out that you're weak and they should start bullying you, making it feel over time like maybe there's a problem with you. This is something I've struggled with my entire life and have gone through a lot of therapy, traveled and moved around my lifestyle quite a bit, had countless jobs, created all sorts of schedules and routines to help me become better and get to know myself, and watched endless videos on how to fix it. And what I've found is that the problem never fully goes away, but the more I learn about it, the easier it gets to work with. Before I talk about how to fix this, I want to first validate that maybe you're not crazy and there very likely might be a problem with you. Something about you seems to attract predators to prey on you in a similar way that a wild animal might smell blood or fear. The scared animal that's so active inside of you might be drawing out a wild animal that is normally dormant in other people. But beyond the actual bullying being dysfunctional is that you see yourself as a bully magnet. Many people that are stuck in this pattern of constantly getting bullied as adults have been bullied or neglected as children, and when you're a kid, sometimes that neglect or bullying can feel so traumatic that even as you get older, everything starts to feel like it can be bullying to you, including things that might seem benign to other people. So this can be very dysfunctional because even in a situation that could have been a normal and calm situation, the person who was bullied as a child and is still carrying that fear from childhood might interpret something as having the chance to become bullying and then have their childhood fight or flight kick in prematurely, so that even a situation that could have been normal can become a toxic one very quickly. And that's where the word triggered comes from. People try to make it a political word, but being triggered is a real thing that happens to people that have been traumatized in the past. When they see things that remind them of that old trauma, it causes their fight or flight to kick in, and they don't really have the choice to try to control it. That animalistic fight or flight response is etched in you since you were a kid, so that whatever was your go-to fight or flight when you were a kid is what you're most likely gonna revert to in such an instinctive state. My personal go-to fight or flight has always been shutting down, going inside of my head, and whenever possible, escaping from the situation. So why are people bullying me, you might think to yourself? If I'm in a triggered state of mind and I'm simply scared of getting bullied, can't people just be understanding and empathetic? And the answer is that maybe they can, but most likely if they have any traumas, which they probably do in this day and age, they're going to get triggered too. Whenever your fight or flight kicks in, you're subconsciously signaling to other people that this is a crisis situation. So their fight or flight should kick in too. Their fight or flight might look similar to mine. They might try to shut down or try to escape. It might look like they're ghosting or ignoring you, but it might also look more like a fight. They might try to attack you or try to dominate you or even try to covertly manipulate you. Whatever it is, your goal will be trying to allow your fight or flight to come out when it needs to, but in a way that doesn't plunge you deeper into the vicious fight or flight cycle by activating the fight or flights of the people around you. That can be very difficult if you're always around other people, especially if those people also have a very easily triggered fight or flight. So in order to avoid bullying or any kind of dysfunction, you're going to want to mostly be around people that you trust, that know your situation really well, and are okay to be there for you while you're healing this part of yourself. Personally, I found that having one person like this close by is enough for me to effectively work through these things, and trying to be close to too many other people usually complicates things and can feel very overwhelming. It also helps that we've been living in different countries where English isn't spoken much, so that there is a nice level of anonymity and a language barrier when it comes to airing out our negative feelings and rebuilding ourselves without the fear of accidentally triggering other people's fight or flights and continuing that toxic cycle. If you want to stop getting bullied, there is a short-term and long-term solution. In the short term, you can try to avoid people entirely and at least limit your interactions with other people so that the chances of anybody getting to know your inner bully magnet are going to be much lower. The last thing that you need while you're trying to heal is attracting more bullies. In the long term, you're going to have to go on a personal journey in order to prove to yourself that you're the kind of person that doesn't get bullied. The way that you'll achieve that is by becoming the kind of person that is so strong that if they appeared in front of the little you that was getting bullied for the first time many years ago, little you would suddenly feel safe from all the bullies. So now I want you to ask yourself, what is that to you? What is a strong version of you that would be able to self-duplicate and then enter a time machine so that they can save the little you from being bullied many years ago? Is it a person who is so strong that they can protect the little you from getting beaten up in the schoolyard? Is it somebody that has so much financial stability that they can protect little you and make you feel safe from poverty? Is it somebody that's emotionally strong and healthy and has gone to a lot of therapy and healed their personal demons and therefore will not yell or project at the little you? Is it somebody that's not scared of your parents or teachers and will be able to get you out of the unpleasant situations without making you feel ashamed? Whatever feels like the ultimate strongest version of you, that if you could have sent it back in time to save the little you, would succeed in doing so and making the younger you feel safe and protected, that's the person that you'll want to become. That should be your new goal. So think about this goal long and hard. Set yourself a timeline and a plan for how fast and efficiently you want to achieve this version of yourself. What's included in the plan? Is it lifting weights at the gym twice a week? Is it learning how to become financially self-sufficient or wealthy? Is it going to yoga or therapy or meditation sessions regularly? Is it making a podcast or YouTube video so that your younger self feels seen and heard? If it makes it easier to move to another city where nobody knows you, so it'll be easier to do the things that you need to do to achieve this goal without shame, then do that. If it's impossible to avoid being around other people because you're dependent on your family or a job or whatever it is, then try to stick around only the people that make you feel safe and healthy in the meantime while you're working on this part of yourself. If you don't know anybody like that because you feel unsafe around everybody, then that's okay and that's actually normal. You should really be thinking to yourself whether the cost of trying to be around all those people and getting deeper into your toxic habits is really worth that short-term job or that few dollars that you're getting out of it. For the people that are still working through that part of themselves and are finding it really hard to survive constantly in survival mode, which is another really common thing with people with childhood trauma, I'd encourage you to take a look at my website, househackersanonymous.com. That's where you'll find my 12-step program, House Hackers Anonymous. It's a 12-step program for my younger self to try to get my younger self out of survival mode. It comes in the form of a book that you can find on Amazon, a course which you can find on my website, and a whole bunch of little resources, a shop. I hope you enjoy it. And regardless, if you're a subscriber, hope to see you in the next video.